And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. She has been identified as Maria Velasquez. She was shot and killed in Whitestown, Indiana last Wednesday morning when she entered the wrong house. She worked for a cleaning service. The owners or someone in the house shot through the door, killing the mother of four. The person that being identified now as a homeowner called 911 saying it was a home invasion. Did they do the right or the wrong thing? Joining us now to talk about it, law enforcement expert Greg Dupree, former police officer. Greg, your thoughts about this tragic case, this woman who lost her life?
Yeah, it's like you say, Isaiah, it's a tragic incident. It's very unfortunate that something like this has taken place. And there were so many things that obviously went wrong that contributed to this woman's death. And I have a lot of questions. They haven't released a lot of information, namely the suspects. The shooter's information, but there was things that happened on both sides of this that, obviously were preventable. And, it can be going forward. It can be a teachable moment for other agencies that visit homes because it was obviously something that did not have to take place.
Now, when you say there were things that were going on both sides, obviously, Miss Velasquez, according to investigators, went into the wrong house.
Right.
On the other side, where do you see things that went wrong with the homeowner involved in this case, according to police?
Well, see, that's it's very hard to speculate on that because I have the benefit of law enforcement experience on my side. So, I'm going to react differently if I hear someone coming through the front door than say the average citizen.
Mhm.
But if I use my bias, I would say it was overreaction. You look back at Botham Jean, and then we had the police officer. She walked into the wrong residence, thinking it was her own apartment, and she shot the gentleman in there. So you can never say what a person's mindset is when someone's coming into their home or they're entering a home that they believe is theirs. But what I look at when I look at this, I look at from the side for the agency that the lady worked for. Obviously, this was the first time she was going out to clean this home, so she was unfamiliar with the area. She was unfamiliar with the residents. I wonder why they didn't send someone else who was familiar with the home out with her first. To show her exactly where the home was. So that could have prevented her from going to the wrong home. It's as simple as taking a picture or pulling it off of Google Maps or something else and giving that person a picture and say, hey, this is what the residence looks like. Second, there was obviously a language barrier. We don't know whether or not the person on the inside of the resident was telling them, don't come in my house, and then fired the shot or stop breaking into my house. We don't know that. All we know is that the person shot, evidently it went through the door. We don't know if the woman went into the resident or not, if she was killed right there on the porch, because all that information hasn't been released yet. But as I said, these were things, if these things or these steps had been taken prior to all this happening, that woman could possibly still be alive today.
And of course, you mentioned the language barrier. Miss Velasquez's husband needed a translator for the
Exactly.
press conference on this. We're not sure exactly if
Mhm.
she spoke any English as well.
Right.
But also, there's the Indiana Stand Your Ground law.
Right.
How big of a role will this play in this case, do you think?
Also going to play a huge role in it, just as it does in Florida and other states that have this rule, or the castle doctrine, and depending on what type of attorney this person hires, that's going to be their main defense, that everyone is supposed to be safe and secure in their own home. And anyone that comes in uninvited, they have a right to protect themselves using force, even deadly force.
Now, one of the things that police said, though, even though the homeowner called in and said it was a home invasion,
Hmm.
Miss Velasquez never got inside of the house.
That's
So is
correct.
there a difference? Is there a technicality there?
That there possibly could be. We don't know if the woman was killed on the porch. Does their law extend to the porch, or does it you have to actually enter the residence before you can take that type of action? There's something else you got to be aware of, Isaiah. We don't know when that phone call was made that somebody was breaking into this house. Was it made prior to the woman getting shot or after? You see, as I'm saying, as
Yeah.
a cover yourself move. We don't know, and I don't know if that'll ever come out either.
And really quick, you brought it up briefly, and let's talk about it really quick in the last 30 seconds. How important it is to know where you're going and not to go. Because I've had several occasions where I thought it was my vehicle and I'm trying to get
Hmm.
into a car and I realized, oh, this is not my car. Just
Right.
imagine if someone was in that car, they think I was trying to break into their car.
Exactly. And, that's, yeah, well, I say this to anyone that carries a weapon. You need some type of tactical training to get you in the proper mindset whenever you're going to pull out a weapon and get ready to use deadly force against someone, because it can lead to tragic circumstances just like this, because people can have a tendency to overreact. Even police officers, you pull out a gun, your blood pressure goes up, you get tunnel vision, you just everything becomes, hyper uh, uh, you become hypersensitive to everything, and you don't really get a chance to think clearly if you don't have the training for it. So I encourage everyone who carries, go out and get that additional training. Go through some type of combat course, some type of tactical course.
Absolutely. Greg Dupree in Dallas, thank you for joining us